I'm so excited to kick things off, guys. Today we're diving into the direct booking machine, a proven growth blueprint for tour operators. And honestly, I think that this is probably the most important webinar of the year. We see so many tour operators struggle, and it's not because they're missing software, but it's because they're missing a repeatable system that consistently drives direct bookings. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to be walking through the full 12-step growth engine framework that we've built specifically for tour operators. But before we get going, I'm going to introduce somebody who truly lives this stuff. This is Brandon Lake, our founder of Resmark Systems, booking software, WaverSign, digital waivers, and Resmark Web, a marketing agency for tour operators. He also runs Western River Expeditions and Moab Adventure Center, two very successful tour operations in North America. So when I say he knows this industry, I promise you, he really, truly does. And we're so lucky that he takes the time and really presents a few times per year to really pour value back into the industry. We're also grateful for you, Brandon. But before I hand it over to you, quick note, this is our first time running a webinar, like I said, through Riverside, and we can't see your beautiful faces or hear you today. So yeah, you could totally wear your jammies and we're not going to judge you. But if you have any questions, guys, please just drop a message in the chat. We'll keep an eye out and I'll try to answer anything or bring it up to Brandon as we're going along. All right, Brandon, I'm going to pass it right over to you.
Okay, thanks, Nikki. Really excited to be here today, you guys. What we're sharing today, I feel like is kind of a breakthrough for me, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I've been doing this for about 25 years, and we have taken a business in one of our businesses in Southern Utah, Moab Adventure Center, from honestly struggling to make a profit, doing very little in revenue, to being a multi-million-dollar company and very profitable and successful. And I feel very blessed because of that, and have always just wanted to share what we've learned with others. We grew that business in many ways by building booking platforms and digital waiver solutions, website solutions along the way that we've applied and learned from and iterated on. We were fortunate even to be growing this last year when a lot of other companies were struggling, and feel very blessed because of that as well. But the single most exciting thing I feel like has happened just recently when we implemented a brand new program. And I say it's new because we've put structure around something that's kind of already been there, but the structure is what has made all the difference. And that is what I'm going to share with you today. So what we did is we took all of the tools and the systems and platforms and everything that we built, and we wrapped them inside a coaching program. And that has made all the difference. It started out with me taking one of our coaches and just saying, hey, I want you to just start walking me through this. And that additional structure and accountability caused some things to happen that I think we've been struggling with for a very long time. And so I'm going to share some of that with you today. You'll learn a little bit about the coaching program, about what we're doing here. So if you're interested in that and you're like, hey, that is for me, like I need that in my life, in my business, awesome. We have tools for you. We have people for you. If you take away from this today, like just some principles, you're like, hey, that's amazing. I can take that myself and apply that to my business. I'll do it myself. That's awesome too. And if somewhere along the way you say, you know what, I could use a little help with this, we are happy to jump in and help you. So with that, let's go ahead and get started going through this. I'm going to show kind of a concept that we've built. We're calling it the Resmark Growth Engine. We refer to it as a 90-day framework, but that's because we really front load this coaching and this program right up front, 12 consecutive weeks of meeting where we are putting all of these systems and tools in place. But that's not the end of it. After that, we continue to meet every single month to report, to optimize, and to improve every one of these things that we're talking about. So here's what we did. You've heard us talk for a long time about the 5 stages of travel. dreaming, planning, booking, experiencing, sharing, right? They're pretty standard across the industry. We've all heard them. But what we did is dug into each one of these and trying to keep this really simple and really powerful. We found 5 critical actions that need to be happening in each one of these phases. Okay, so that's 25 overall. These are all the areas that drive results. There's so many things we can do, and we're all bombarded with it all the time, right? We're like, oh my gosh, new idea, new shiny thing, and we're just constantly distracted, and it feels pretty chaotic. Our goal here was to reduce this down to 5 key areas in each of the 5 phases, the ones that drive results, replace chaos with clarity, and really create what we're calling an operating system that runs your business for you. So you can get this in place, step back from the chaos a little bit, and just breathe and feel like this, I put all of the right pieces in place to help me be successful, right? Well, and that's true whether you're small or a bigger company like us. Like sometimes you think, oh, you're mature and you've been around for a long time and you've seen a lot of success. Like I am getting things out of this that are going to help propel our business even further. And that's super exciting. So no matter what size you are, this stuff applies. So here's what I want to do first. I want everybody to have a baseline before we jump into this. We put this together. I think this is kind of fun. I always love taking self-assessments to kind of say, where am I at? So you're going to get a little bit of a preview of some of the things we're talking about as you do this. But if everybody can take out your phone, I want you to rank your business. You're going to see each of the 5 phases presented here. 5 questions per phase. We're going to give you 5 minutes so you can really think about it. I want you to know the responses are anonymous. You don't even have to put in your information if you want. You'll still see the results. There is a spot at the end. If you want to get them by email, you can plug them in and it will send you a link to that whole page so you don't have to lose it. And then at the very end of our presentation today, I'm going to share the group results. So you can kind of see where am I at according to where everybody else is at. So Nikki's just dropped that into the chat as well. If you want to click there and do it on your desktop, you can. If you'd like to scan this with your phone, you can do it that way. So 2 ways to do it. I'm going to be quiet and let you take a moment and fill this out. Hey, awesome, everybody. Those of you who are still taking this or who joined and want to take this, you can certainly do that, kind of listen on the side while you're going, or you can just keep that link handy. We'll share it afterwards as well for those who didn't get a chance to take it, so you can take it and see where your score stacks up then. But let's go ahead and jump into the next segment of this. So hopefully everybody's kind of got your score. Keep that in the back of your mind. Again, you saw a little bit of the preview of some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. And I wish we had time today to talk about all 25 of the things that you just answered, but Nikki mentioned we're going to talk about 12 things. We've kind of taken half of them, and that's what we're going to cover today. Just don't have time to cover everything. So we'll get moving here. But before we jump into any of those, I want to talk about the foundation of this entire program, and that is your ideal customer. So many times we jump into marketing and we're just going after, I need to do some of this. I need to do a little bit of that. And we're creating content for our website or making posts on social, and we don't step back to think about what is really in the hearts and minds of our ideal customer. What are they worried about? What are they trying to solve by coming on a potential tour or experience with us? Who do they really want to travel with? What are they trying to get out of this when they're done? Really answering those things. So we developed a very systematic approach to this. We defined it across 10 key areas, and we take this ideal customer profile, or ICP, and we apply it to every single one of those phases that you just went through in the survey. And you're going to see that as we move through this. But I want to paint a picture really quickly of how we go about this. So the first thing is understanding who your ideal customer is. And this isn't just saying, well, who are most of our customers? No, this is stepping back and say, what customers are most profitable? What customer do I really love working with? What customer is going to go out there and be a total raving fan for my business? Like, those are the people you want more of, right? That you just love working with. They're going to be profitable and they're going to promote your business. So we've developed an approach that helps us figure out who these people are and really what's in their minds and hearts. So we take website information, your chat logs if you have them available, your Google Analytics. We have an interview with your coach where they ask some very key, important questions. We then take reviews from TripAdvisor, Google, Yelp, Facebook, anywhere you have those reviews, and we pull all of this data together. We plug it into an isolated project inside of ChatGPT. We apply our growth engine framework to it with a series of custom prompts. We have about 18 pages of prompts that we run through and develop what we need for this ideal customer profile. We then take that and we start to apply it to everything here. So we don't have time to go through that today. We've done some workshops in the past that talk about it, but I just want you to know that is kind of the foundation of everything we're talking about. It's the one thing in marketing that's never going to change, right? It's connecting with the right person at the right time with the right message. And that's what we're trying to do throughout this whole thing. So let's go ahead and move into the first phase. These are the 5 keys that you saw in the survey that you took. We're going to cover the 2 bold ones, SEO and AI search strategy, and active social and video. I'm going to be showing some examples as we go through, some principles. We'll jump out to some live things, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. If you have questions as we go along, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We may wait until we get to the end and when we'll answer those. So let's go ahead and move into this first one. So why does this really matter? A lot of people are thinking, well, this whole thing with AI search has me concerned that maybe I should just step back to the sidelines and wait till we figure out what's happening, right? Like everything is changing. Some people are saying, gosh, people aren't even going to use my website anymore. They're going to just book right in ChatGPT or in Perplexity or in Gemini. And that may very well be true in the future. But we need to think about how do all of these search platforms get their information, right? It is your website. I would argue that right now is the best time to rebuild your website with certain principles in mind that will cause you to get visibility on all of these platforms. AI search traffic is up 527% year over year, right? We've all seen that. We're part of it. We live it. AI visitors convert 4.5 times better than traditional organic visitors. So think about this for a minute. We've all done it, right? You've gone out, you've done your travel research in your favorite AI platform, and you have sort of this different level of trust that you don't have when you're just Googling something and clicking through the results and you're kind of alone, to figure out what's there and what you trust and what you don't. But when AI has filtered through all of that and given you a suggestion, we come into the website and we see this in our own logs. They spend more time, they convert higher, they're more qualified, right? So it's so critical that we get there. And it's not that people are all using different platforms either. Like Google is a big part of this. They are right at the forefront of surfacing AI overviews in their content, so people don't necessarily have to change to another platform to see this. Google's going to be right there serving this up to the masses that they already have in their pocket. And still, top rankings in Google are receiving 90% of organic clicks. So that's not to be shied away from in any way right now. That's still the bulk of the traffic that we're getting. So here's 5 keys, and then we're going to look at some examples. So you want to publish your content that matches AI intent. And by AI intent, we're talking about your ideal customer, right? What is in there? What are they out there searching for? In many ways, this is a little bit different than maybe how we traditionally used to do things. I wouldn't even say maybe 10 years ago, it was a little bit different, but we've been doing this for a while if you've been doing SEO right. So people are looking for comparisons a lot, right? Like best rafting trips for families, what to pack for Moab. You can create guides and FAQs and posts that really help travelers plan, like all of these questions that they ask. Answer those right on your product pages, on ancillary pages, right? You want to structure your content for clarity and context, which means what? That means writing in natural language, be conversational, answer real traveler questions. If you can take a page and put at the top of it like a very concise, clear response, about 40 to 65 words, and you've structured it right, AI loves that, right? These are all computers reading your pages. So if it can read it quickly and get the answer that it needs, boom, you might get surfaced right up there at the top of the results. You also want to make sure that you're using what we call schema markup throughout these pages, and that all your technical signals are AI friendly, right? Like really clean URL structure, internal linking, descriptive meta tags. You want to have your pages need to be super mobile optimized and very fast. Speed really matters. If AI can't get through your content quickly because it's taking a long time to load, it will skip it. So that's like really critical. At Resmark Web, we publish a file called llms.txt that is a structured file that helps these large language model systems understand your page. That's really powerful. You're going to want to build credibility with proof and partners like your Google reviews, your TripAdvisor reviews, any awards, media mentions. Have all of that in there. Make sure you have links from other sites coming in that are in the tourism industry and have high authority. Make sure that you are looking at all of this stuff regularly and posting new content. Keep it current. AI loves that as well. And so does Google, honestly. These are all the same things. That's the thing. It's not like, oh, this is all new. These are the same principles that will help you rank well everywhere. So let's take a little look at an example of this. Just want to show out a couple of examples of these are Resmark Web clients. We've been doing some of these things with them. You can kind of see that traffic increase from an SEO perspective in terms of the keywords that they're ranking for. This is Always Adventures. That last one was Expedition Kanab. This one's pretty exciting. We've done some things with Moab Adventure Center that have really helped in what we call the share of voice. So if you look across our competitors that are also ranking in terms of share of voice, you can kind of see where we're at with that in terms of the number of times we're getting mentioned in these different platforms, right? And that's really important because people will see a mention. They'll be like, oh, I like this. I like this source. I'm going to read more about it. And you get traffic from these sources. So how do we go about getting there? I'm going to just jump over into a live example and just kind of walk you through a little bit of what we're doing to make this happen. So here on the Moab Adventure Center website, it's a brand new website, just got launched. We're really, really excited about it. It has a lot more content than the previous version of our site. And within this, you can see not only, I mean, from a user's perspective, the imagery is really dialed in and connecting with them. But we've also got just little bite-sized chunks of things that people may want to know about, Moab Adventure Center if they're analyzing it or reviewing it, even utilizing AI. So these little bite-sized chunks of content are really, really helpful. Having reviews that are right at the forefront throughout the site, nearly on every single page, is really powerful. Having your links in between your content to like key content pages that people are looking for. We actually get a ton of traffic for people looking for hotels, campgrounds, restaurants, stuff that's not necessarily exactly what we do, but our ideal customer is out there looking for it. So when we built all this content, we kind of stepped back and said, okay, what does our ideal customer want to do? They're trying to plan a trip to Moab. What kind of things are going to go through their head? Well, obviously they want tours, and we're going to supply all of that information. They probably want other things to do. They're there to visit national parks and see the state parks. So let's have information on that. They're going to need a place to stay, and they're going to want to find places to eat. So let's provide that. They're going to want to know how to get there and understand, like just the nuances of the visit themselves. So like really plugging all of that in a way that's easy to navigate, easy for the user to navigate, easy for an AI search or LLM to navigate, makes all the difference. And you can see we've got FAQs. If you went through all the pages, you'd see that we have these on nearly every single page. The answers are very succinct, and they're the things that we see asked a lot. This is where like pulling in some of your chat logs and things like that can be really helpful to analyze that content. And then when it comes down to your tour information, having that really succinctly presented with clear, transparent pricing, short descriptions, so it can quickly analyze everything that you do and offer at a glance, is really, really powerful. And you can see this. I'll just look at one other page here really quickly. If we were to go into like Arches National Park, you can see we've kind of created what we call a hub and spoke model here, right? So we have this main page about Arches National Park, and then look at all the ancillary pages that we have. Every one of these is another page of information, and they all interlink, and it just creates this nexus of content around Arches National Park, which we're trying to rank for, right? It gets actually 3 times the amount of search than Moab, Utah gets, because people are coming to see this national park. And of course, we have tours there, and our things are presented throughout every single page of information. Of course, we're still subtly selling our tours, sometimes less subtly than others, depending on the page and the information that you're getting. So hopefully that's helpful. You can kind of see some of that. I'm not getting into the technical details of it as much there, but if you went behind the scenes, you'd see that we really put a lot of thought into our page titles and meta descriptions and all of these other key factors that really make a difference. And this is the Resmark web team thinking through all of this, which is so helpful to have a team like that when you're rebuilding your website. So with that, let's jump into social and video. I'm going to go a little bit quicker through some of these, and we'll stop and play around with some live examples on a couple of others. But this one is one that we sometimes overlook, but we shouldn't. 64% of travelers say social media inspires their travel decisions. And I think we can all find ourselves in that same boat, right? You're connected to a group of like-minded people. They post pictures about what they've done, or you see posts from companies that might interest you, and you're watching little reels and things, and it's putting ideas into your head continuously. The other interesting thing is that viewers retain 95% of a video message versus 10% of just a written message. So video is really powerful. And if we can post up to 5 times a week, it will compound our visibility. And I'll show you kind of how that works here. So how do we make this work? Focus on stories. Make sure your imagery, and when I say imagery, I'm talking video as well. Make sure it's powerful. Make sure it's helpful. Like, again, we go back to our ideal customer. We say, what do they want? What do they need? How do I give them value? Hook them in the first 3 seconds. Use your guides. I'm going to show you a post that was made by a video that was captured by one of our guides that got crazy amount of views on it. Try to post 3 to 5 times a week. Algorithms reward regularity. And don't worry about being so polished always. I think there's a place for it, but you could just be authentic, and people like it. So I'm going to show you just a couple of examples. This is in the camp of being a polished example, okay? So we took a video. You can look this up online if you want to see it. Things to do in Moab, Utah. And this is a video that I actually ended up making. We have someone that helps us shoot our video, and we took a couple of days, visited all kinds of places down in Moab, and we recorded something that ended up being a fairly polished product and got 66,000 views over the last 10 months, 51 comments, 769 likes. Took us a couple of days to do it, but like the quality of views that we're getting, you can see here, we even got 268 new subscribers out of it. We've gotten 7.4 thousand hours of watch time because it's a longer video. That's pretty awesome for people to spend that much time with us. And then of course, descriptions and everything surrounding the video are really key. This one was just a simple something we asked our guides to do. We told them if they shoot a video and we post it, we'll pay them $20. So it was like a quick and easy way to get some content. And this was amazing. This must have kind of gotten shared by some influencers out there or something that saw it, because our other ones haven't taken off this much. But one post, 1.5 million views, and you can see 80,000 likes, 239 comments, almost 12,000 people saved this. Really, really cool. And then you can see the interaction that's happening too. That's the other thing to not forget on this. Don't just post something, go, oh, that was cool, I got all this interaction. Like, you be there interacting, answering, directing people over to your product so that they can come and see who you are. And there's this human connection piece to it as well, which is really powerful. The ResMark CRM does have a way to schedule social posts. Honestly, I'm going to say, put a big fat caveat around this one. I would not recommend it for the very best results possible. But if you're in a camp where you're like, I'm just struggling to even get started, this can be a really great tool. You can come in here, access all your platforms in one place, put in your posts, schedule them to go out, and at least start getting, 2 to 3 a week or something like that. Very, very, it's a good start, right? And then once you're like seeing some results and getting there, then maybe you go native into the platform. The platforms reward you for doing that. They want you to be in their platform. They want you to be interacting in their platform. And so you're gonna have a little more success doing that. But this is not a bad way to get started.
Can I touch on something real quick, Brandon?
Yep.
I love social media so much. It's usually the driving factor of how I book my tours. I go on to the tour operator social media accounts and I see that they're active and they have intriguing, valuable posts. But I think that, and I agree with you, it's good to be natively in the app interacting, but when we have limited sources and we're trying to post on YouTube Shorts and on Instagram Reels and on Facebook, we have to be, efficient. But one way you can do that is use a scheduling tool, but then have your employees share your posts, have your employees interact, have your friends and family share your posts, because even though we're not natively posting from the apps themselves, we're getting more eyeballs on it. So you could be efficient and then have people share, but even better, you could post natively and have people share as well. And then lastly, I wanted to say we created a blog post, 19 social media post ideas if you're stuck and you don't know what to post. I'm going to update it here soon because I think, in April, but I'm going to send it over. And if you can get some inspiration from it, that's great.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikki. That's super helpful. Thanks for posting that link. Okay, let's move into planning. Here we're going to cover 3 things out of our 5 conversion-focused websites: lead magnets and lead nurturing. And I'm going to jump into some examples here right out of the gate. But first, let's talk about why this matters. So direct website bookings obviously are delivering a much higher margin than working through resellers, right? 15 to 30% higher profit margins. So we have to be focused on this. 82% of travelers actually prefer to book direct when the website is trustworthy. I think where we run into issues is like when maybe our design or the website itself is hard to navigate, doesn't create that immediate trust. They may go to a different platform. They may go to Get Your Guide or Viator or Expedia or whatever they're comfortable booking with, because they don't find that feeling they're looking for with the website. 57% of users won't even recommend a poorly designed mobile website. So that's a big part of our marketing. We've got to have something that people are like so jazzed about that they're going to go out and share it with people, right? And this one we don't think about very much, but honestly, if your website isn't designed and structured well, you're not even going to show up in AI search. So you've got to get all of these things dialed in. So let's just take a look at a few keys here. Want to speak to your ideal customer within the first 3 seconds. So we're going to look at how we do that. Include clear social proof and key differentiators. We've talked about that a little bit in some of our previous things. Driving visitors to booking or inquiry on every page. Like, don't miss an opportunity to make that happen. We'll show you how we do that. And then make mobile your mission. On most of it, if you looked in your Google Analytics, you're probably getting 60 to 70% of your traffic on mobile. And sometimes it's just easier because we're working on computers all day that we're looking at websites in desktop mode, and we forget most of our people are actually looking at our site in mobile. And I'll show you a really cool preview tool that we have for that. And then lastly, don't guess. So many times we just go, well, that feels right. And sometimes we're right, but so often we're not. I've been surprised at how many times I've looked at the data and gone, that's not what I thought was going to happen. So good to really use data as your friend and measure and test and repeat and refine. And that's one of the coolest things about the coaching program too, I think, is that you've got someone there that's kind of forcing you to do that. You're meeting with them every single week at first, and then every month, and they're kind of, just making that whole system work of measure, test, refine, and repeat. So let's look at a little example. This is a site that's actually under construction right now. It's for Rafiki Safaris. And we'll look first at their existing site and kind of say what's good about this, what's not. You'll see the difference here. It's not terrible. They've got some big imagery here. I can see where I can easily navigate to some of their other stuff. We got some information about East Africa safaris. I see their trips, and I see the footer. But from our list we just went through, there are a few key things missing here. So I'm going to jump over into our website builder preview so you can see this inside of Resmark Web here. And right out of the gate, what do we see? Let me actually come back to their homepage here. Really clear first call to action of booking my adventure. I like too that they've kind of dialed in their ideal customer. I didn't see this on the last one a little bit, but they've got this tagline here of eco-friendly adventures that leave a lasting impact. And you'll see as we come down here, they're really calling this out because people, especially, there are a lot of people, and they've got this dialed in and they're understanding what's in the hearts of their customer, which is they want to travel to Africa, but they want to make a difference doing it. And that's really cool to blend that together because people will see that right away and go, that's what I want. These guys are, they're doing something that's gonna make a difference, and I want to be part of that movement. So they've done that beautifully. The call to action here, we didn't see anything in the last one about guest ratings, how many different itineraries they have. I love that. It's just quick and easy to understand. Okay, here's somebody that goes to Africa and they've got 10 different itineraries. They're ranked well. These little tiny snippets like this are great for humans and AI. If we scroll down a little bit further, the impact of this versus what we saw before over here, like that's even just visually, that's like, wow, I'm saying this is a quality operator that I have this level of trust that's higher than I would have had on that last one. And that immediately is going to help with conversion. So having someone who really understands this, put it together and help you design it is really, really important. It can make the difference in, hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business. I like this section too. Like we're talking about what makes them different, right? There were no differentiators on that last page. And now we see some of these key differentiators here. Awesome design elements that just make this so fun to navigate. And the cool thing is, if we go into mobile, you can see that all of this just looks phenomenal on a mobile device. Super easy to navigate. That same content that we were seeing before presented just as impactfully on mobile. And so often that is not the case. So this site will launch here soon, and you can take a look at it live. But really a huge difference with that. One other one I'll quickly show. This is another one that's going to launch here soon. This one is Blue Lagoon Island. You can see, colorful, kind of easy to see what they do here. That's not very easy to read. And we're down to the footer. So take a look at the difference here on this new site. You can see major difference with the way that this is laid out and designed. Right away, we're getting into why they're different, what sets this experience apart from other things you might choose. Way more impactful imagery that they've got here, and activities are presented so much better. They're talking about sustainability, their education program, which is massive. Their mission statement, reviews are prominently featured. They've got FAQs, which we want to make sure we have, some of the upcoming events, partners, just really well done, nicely designed. I'm excited to see the results of that from a conversion standpoint. So hopefully that helps you see some of the things that you want to be thinking about in terms of your website design. Next one is capturing quality leads through solid offers. So a lot of tourism websites do not have these, and I think there's a big missed opportunity there. Why? 95% of our visitors aren't ready to buy. So they're going to come to your website, browse around, and leave. And we don't have anything else for them besides look at our stuff and book our trip. 50% of people who are utilizing these are reporting higher conversion rates, and they convert at 18% on average. So how do we put this together? You got to think about a problem, a real problem that your ideal customer cares about. Make it your solution to the problem valuable enough that they're willing to give up their contact information. And then pick a format. I'm going to show you few formats right now, but you could do a guide, email series, a contest, a quiz, a calculator. There's lots of different things you can put together, and then measure it, refine it, and if necessary, change it to something else and measure that against it. But some of these are not that hard to put together. So this is one of our clients, Whitewater Voyages. They have a quiz, and this is Find Your Perfect Rafting Adventure, and it's kind of fun. I think there's 4 sets of questions that you answer. They're about trip length, who you're rafting with, what's your previous experience, and your desired level of adventure, and then it makes a recommendation of just a couple of trips right at the end after going through that. And you can utilize this to capture an email address. You could even email the results to them. Like, it's a fun way to do it. And the cool thing about a quiz, which I think is one of the most powerful lead magnets, is that you've just gathered all of this stuff: who they're traveling with, how long they want to be there, what's their experience, what they're looking for. Like, all of that instead of just a name and email. So love this idea, and I think people like to interact with it. They're always curious, like, what's on the other side of this? What are you going to recommend to me? Or what type of personality am I, in your, what kind of adventure personality do I have? That sort of thing. This one is really straightforward and simple. This was a epic 5-day Utah adventure planned for you. These guys have gotten 4,000 requests this year on this. That's 4,000 people that probably would have left the website without any information about them, but now they have a name and an email address for them because they've collected it here. And it's just a perfectly crafted 5-day itineraries with all the top trails, hidden gems, all of that stuff's included in there, and people can ask for it. So that's a really easy one.
Brandon, can I mention something real quick?
Sure.
So I signed up for the Kanab. I signed up for the lead magnet a couple days ago, and maybe it's been like 7 days, but I received quite a few valuable emails since downloading the guide, and I'm just like, this is wonderful. This is how you get in front of people, and I'm excited now to see it in my email inbox and open it, because they're actually very intriguing, valuable emails. So just something to keep in mind.
Love it. And we're gonna talk about that on our next point here, like how those emails can really make such a difference with it. So thank you for bringing that up. We actually changed ours at Moab Adventure Center recently. For a while, we just offered this insider's guide, and we're starting to migrate away from that a little bit and just see what we can do with an insider email series, which is like the ultimate easy thing to do. You can still kind of preface this with a quiz, like gather some information about the people and then branch them into, different tracks of emails based on their desires and who they're traveling with and so forth. So you're really speaking to them. But we get about 10,000 of these each year. I think it's 10,000 people that probably wouldn't be doing this otherwise. And I'll show you kind of what we do with them after we get them here, which is our next step, which is optimize lead nurture automations. So this, I'll just answer a quick question from Nick here. Would you suggest having only one lead magnet? Would more than one become too busy? It's a good question, Nick. I think, I think you can have a couple depending on where people are landing on your site too. Like we have an itinerary page on our site that people are searching for that. And that could be a great place to put a lead magnet that is specific to that content. Like if they came in searching for Moab, Utah itinerary ideas and they landed on a page and we had a lead magnet that was like, get the perfect 5-day itinerary right here sent to you. How could we better match that with the customer's intent, right? This insider's guide is kind of our generic one when you could come to any page. But yeah, I think if you have some content that's actually driving traffic, maybe think about it that way. Like, hey, this is one of our top pages. Could we pair a lead magnet with that page so that they land on it, see it, like it, and connect with it in a way that they're actually, giving us some of their contact info. Love that. So automated emails, if you do that, are going to generate 320% more revenue than non-automated. If you can automate your lead nurturing, you're going to see a 451% increase in qualified leads. This is across lots of industries, but it applies to the travel industry as well. And if you can personalize your nurture sequences, you're going to see 6 times higher transaction rates. So these are crazy stats. To not have this in place would be crazy. So you want to have something. I like the way Nick's thinking here too. Have multiples, but at least start with one as a starting point. So here's a formula for your emails. You want to get the first one out instantly. People expect it. You're going to have it go out right away as they sign it out. And then you're going to sequence 6 to 10 total touch points. You're going to mix in some helpful education about the area because you're the insider. You know all the things that they are looking for, and share it with personality and make it fun. And personalize it if you can by group type and interest. Include storytelling, make sure you're weaving in some reviews and social proof, and include clear calls to action through the process. So this is what we just changed ours. We're actually doing some testing like we love to do, and we now have we've got 10 emails in place. We've actually adopted a daily cadence. That's not what we used to do. We used to spread them out longer, but my thinking is when people are ready to make a decision about travel, usually they're like, it's on their minds and they're going to make a decision. Sometimes we think about things for months, right? But if they're trying to do a search, I don't want to not give them information, wait another week and then another week and another month. So we front load this thing and we send it back to back. And the results have been interesting because we're not really getting a lot of drop off. Plus we also prefaced it in our lead magnet that they're going to get a series of daily emails over the course of the next week or 10 days or whatever you have. These emails on average are getting a 60% open rate. If you look at your newsletters, you're probably getting close to maybe 20%, maybe 30 if they're really good, but not 60. And so that's pretty cool if you can get that kind of engagement on these. 20% click-through rate. These ones are all automated in ResMark. That's what you're looking at on the screen right here. And the results are really, really fun to see. I want to show you our top email in this sequence. So this is part of our new sequence here. We did a top 10 can't miss dinner spots, 78.6% open rate on this one, and a 31% click-through rate. And here's what we actually did with the page, just to give you an idea of what kind of content goes into these things. So best places to eat dinner in Moab. If we come down here, you'll see each one of these restaurants listed, and we don't just talk about the restaurant, but we tell them what to order at the restaurant. Go for the Texas-style prime rib, slow roasted to perfection. And then we give them what we call a perfect pair, the ideal celebration evening after your off-road adventure. So then they can click oh, that does sound nice to do after an off-road adventure. I'm going to click on that, right? And so you can see how we're still selling tours, even though we're giving them this information about restaurants. And they're not all tours either. This one says, hey, go get the pistachio pizza at Antigua Forma. Check out downtown Moab Main Street shops, or there's an easy bike ride on a paved path that goes up the canyon that people love to do, or they love to know about, right? And we've got maps of this and all of that on here. So and you could look through all of these and see each one is just a little bit unique. And just fun. It makes the whole experience real and tangible. I think when you get down to the detail, here's a restaurant, here's the dish you're going to order, and here's what you might do before or after it. The whole vacation experience starts to become real in my mind, and that's what we're shooting for here as we continue to send these to them. Let's see. I'm just going to look up here. So Irene asked a little question here. What would you recommend using for a form to help people know which would be best for them? Like in terms of the actual form to use, there are some third-party tools that you could use. We just started playing with one. The one that you used to take that survey at the beginning is called Score App. That's a very cool, very polished solution that you could weave into your website. We've also done some of these just natively right inside of Resmark Web. So you don't necessarily have to have, if you're a Resmark Web client and you want to talk about this with us, we can help you implement some of these things just using some native tools. So you don't have to have something like that. You can ask, do these quizzes and stuff. That one on Whitewater Voyages, I think, was designed right inside of our tools there. So, but yeah, there's certainly we can talk about some more solutions for that depending on exactly what you're trying to accomplish. But I do think it's a great idea. Okay, let's jump next into booking. I didn't bold these, but we're going to talk about the first three on here, optimizing our products and pricing, conversion-driven checkout pages, and optimized online checkout. And this is a pretty obvious one. I think we all get why it's so important. But sometimes we don't think about the fact that our wording can make a 300% difference in conversions. Like just the way that we word something about our products. 67% of travelers will pay more if the experience aligns with their values. And I'm going to show you some little key pricing badges that can increase your bookings by 26%. And these are all fairly easy to implement if you go about it right. So we're going to look at a few things on some live examples here. Strong visuals and video immediately visible. Vivid benefit-driven copy. Quick and clear details, highlights, inclusions. We're going to look at some maps, what to bring, what sets you apart from other companies. We're going to reinforce it all with customer reviews. So I'm going to jump over to our Moab Adventure Center site. Here I'm on our full day raft trip page. And as we come through this page, you can see that right away at the top of the page, I've got imagery and video. Right? It is the single most powerful asset you have on your page. And sometimes we bury it a little too far, right? So have it right up front. Really, really powerful to have there. And if possible, make it so that people can book when they're looking at these things. If they're going through imagery and they're seeing something that they like, they can jump right into the booking process. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can see we've got something that we've researched to resonate with our ideal customer profile. They're very family oriented. So Colorado River Venture for all ages, stunning canyons, famous Castle Valley, easygoing rapids, riverside barbecue, stories they're going to tell long after they dry off. Some quick and easy copy like that can do a lot for the page. Inclusions are really important so they can start kind of visualizing this whole thing. It's very transparent. I've got all the details that I need really fast in terms of details and all of that. I've got my highlights right here, what's included, what's not included. I have some longer descriptions, which is still important. So I have some decent chunk of content on the page. Maps are critical. People love that. I've got another call out for the video here later if they didn't watch it right up front. Now they're more interested. Kind of what sets this tour apart. I'm supporting it with reviews. You can see we've done a what to bring image on this one to just, again, make it like very real and tangible, exactly how you can find yourself doing this activity. And we've got our FAQs down here and some upsells. So the formula that we utilize to put these pages together is proven to produce results. And that's an awesome thing to be able to follow when you've got a template like that. Okay, so let's jump into conversion and urgency on these pages. I'm going to jump back into the page and show you just a couple examples of this. Really, the smallest things on the page can sometimes produce some of the biggest results. So let me talk about this for a minute. We're going to talk about little things that we've put on this floating sidebar on our site that are really helping drive conversion into the checkout process. So let me jump over to that page again, and I'll show you what happens on this sidebar. You notice this floating here as we went down the page. So we've got a few things that are incrementally increasing conversion. We've got a likely to sell out chip up here because this one does sell out frequently. We're pulling in reviews here and mentioning what the rating is overall. We've got tags like most popular. Not everything can be most popular, so some products say different things that help sort of set it apart. Pricing is really transparent. And then right with the check availability button, we've got, decades of experience, the fact that we've won the best in Utah 22 consecutive years, and they can book today worry-free because we have free cancellation up to 48 hours before departure. And if you're doing that 24 hours, which most companies do, highlight that, help them see that okay, there's not a lot of risk to doing this. Or if there's a lot of ways to go about these types of things. So that is a key there. And then on the checkout side, I want to run through this one really quickly. So load time is critical. You're going to see a 17 to 20% boost in conversion if you can get this down for every second that you save there. Over 60% of bookings are happening on mobile, so the process has got to be streamlined on mobile. And if you could get a simple checkout process designed with progress bars, you're going to see 36% lower abandonment. So that is really, really powerful. Let's jump back into this page, and I'm just going to take you through the first part of checkout here. So right here, you can see this, loaded very quickly. You can see I've got a 3-part progress bar up here at the top. This is all a brand new checkout process that just launched within ResMark. So our clients that are using ResMark Web and ResMark together can have access to this. We're really excited about that. It is, I think, going to be incredibly powerful for conversion. We're already seeing the impact of it on our end, just with bookings since we launched this. So as I come through these selections here, you can see the calendar jumps to the next available dates. And what am I seeing while I'm going through this? I've got reinforcement of everything I had on the other page, right? I've got my likely to sell out. I've got my top rated. I see my reviews. Those awards here are following me. So as I move through this process, I'm reminded about all of that as I add to cart. And you'll see each one of these is going to continue with us here again. We're pointing out best price guaranteed. You don't need to go look at this in an OTA or anywhere because you're going to get the best rates right here. There's our awards again we're featuring. We've got a timer that's producing some urgency. The progress bar is working their way through it. Forms are autofilling according to what I have stored in my browser already, so that makes things super easy. All I really need to do is tap in here, choose my credit card, and click the button. And again, I've got all of this to reinforce my decision along the way. And each one of those helps just dial in conversion on these pages, which is so critical. So that process right there, if some of you want to take a look at that and more in depth, we'd be happy to run through it. There's some really, really cool things you can do with it. In fact, let me just show you. I'll show you one other thing on it, actually. This, for some of you that do bundles or packages or upsells, we've built something into this checkout process that is super user-friendly and I think going to help us sell far more tours. So if you're ever selling, multiple tours together and maybe somebody's saving something, check this out. I can come in here and it steps me through the building of an itinerary. So if I've recommended an itinerary, I have a package of a couple of things, I can actually now come in here, choose the date of this, and as I click next adventure, and it's going to just check me off as I go each step of the way. The calendar is going to jump ahead to the date range that I already started building my itinerary under. And you can see it's plugging in the dates. I got a Thursday, a Friday, And we can plug this one in on the Saturday. And then we add all of them to cart. And if I've actually stored discounts with them, it will actually apply those to the ones that are applicable. These two are applicable for discounts in this case, and away we go. So really, really amazing checkout process to just dial in the simplicity of bundles and packages and help with your conversion rate that way. All right, we've got a last couple here to run through. We'll hit these pretty quickly. I don't have too many live examples of this, but on the experiencing side, post-purchase upsells can be so important, and we often overlook them. We used to think that putting a lot of the upselling in the checkout process was effective, but a lot of data over time has shown that abandonment rates increase by doing that. So if we can do this right after the purchase, and by right after, I mean right after, when they're still kind of in the mindset of planning and booking, we can see up to 15% conversion rate on this. And it can really help increase our revenue overall. So I'm going to walk you through what we've implemented on the Moab Adventure Center side, and I'll just jump right into showing you this page here. So after I finish that booking, this is what I would see. So I see my personalization of my order up here. I scroll down a little bit further, and then I see this upsell right here. And it's telling me that most visitors book this combo to make the most of Moab. It's giving me this additional activity with very transparent pricing. I've got my reviews in here. And if I click add to order on this, it literally is just going to circle back, let me choose my date, and plug it right into my order, which is really, really cool. And then I might see another upsell after that one. But we've kept it very simple, single activity, one recommendation, and that can help drive a lot of conversion. All right, our last one, you guys, is sharing. And here I want to talk a little bit about your automatic review generation and your aggregated response system. So these two are so critical, and I think most of us are focused on it and doing it, but I just want to provide a couple additional tips with this. Reviews are crazy important. You're going to get 3 times more of them if you can automate a sequence after the trip. And I'll show you what we've done to accomplish that. And then businesses with 3 or more review sources converted 35% higher online. What does that mean? That means don't just do Google. Do multiple sources. We do Google, TripAdvisor, Yelp, Facebook, and we send people to all of those sources. But we only do that in one instance, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So we do SMS messages, and we use email as well. So this is an example of what we send via SMS. It's a short personal message. We give them a reason to leave the review. In this case, it helps our guides a lot. I think people, they're connected to the guides and they kind of want to help them at this point. We only send one review channel in the SMS message. Sending too many will actually decrease what people are, it'll just cause that additional confusion in terms of where they should go. So Google is your most valuable review source, I would say, for a lot of reasons. So that's why we use it here. And use the official link. Don't shorten it or anything like that. People are a little bit leery of clicking those kinds of things, particularly in a text message. But if they can see search.google.com is the actual URL, they're going to be far more likely to click it. On the email side, this is what ours looks like. It's a short message. Again, it gives them a reason. You see multiple channels in there. We use the brand colors of each one of these things to direct them to it. And we link directly to the review entry, not to a high-level page or something that they've got to then go find the review button. This will literally pop up the review message right there to enter. And then last thing for today is implementing an integrated response system. What do I mean by that? Sometimes we have all these review channels coming in from so many sources, we find it hard to keep up with responses, right? We're logging into Google, we're going over to Facebook, we've got stuff to reply to in TripAdvisor, we need to go into Yelp, and it's just hard, and sometimes they get totally overlooked. So we systemize the responses and we centralize all of the reviews into one place. Have someone assigned to reply to these within 24 hours if you can. It makes a big difference. And make responses personal. Thank them, acknowledge them, invite them back. You can use AI, right? Sometimes it's hard to draft those really difficult ones. Maybe you get a poor review and you just want to be angry with the person, but you can write something and have AI help you kind of coach you through how to improve that response and just feed it the review. But I would encourage you not to just let AI take off and start responding to all of your reviews either. You can run into some issues that way. I think having a human monitoring this is very helpful. So inside of some of our ResMark tools, we have a dashboard that allows you to aggregate all your reviews into one place so that every source is represented. It makes it easy to click reply and did you go through each one of those no matter the source? That's super, super nice. And then the reply shows up within that tool and they get a notification that you replied. And then you can take these from that same tool and you can actually embed them on your site. So here's an example of what we've embedded on Moab Adventure Center. Again, having a page like this that has your reviews can help you beat out. Some people are looking for your company name reviews, like Moab Adventure Center reviews. And this can help you beat out other, TripAdvisor that might be ranking well for that already has your reviews. You want people on your site looking at the reviews from everywhere. Okay. Oh, I lied. We have one more. Merchandising strategy, you guys. After the experience ends, having a profitable merchandising strategy is not just about making additional revenue. Having something in place that allows you to get your brand out there for others to see, but also for your guests to remember their experience, right? Those are two really powerful things that happen when you do this. So we actually have a store. We sell a lot of things in the store, but not everybody purchases while they're there, and not every company has a store. So how can you do this at total no risk, easy implementation? We have on side of ResMark Web, we have an integration with Printify that we can actually allow you to build and design products with zero risk of fulfillment. You don't have to inventory them. Printify will actually take the product, have it fulfilled, and have it shipped. And you don't have to do anything but provide designs and pick your colors and whatever it is you want to sell. And you can see some of the things that we've done here. Some of these are custom designs. Some of these are AI designs. And you can utilize that to actually craft some of these. This arch was designed with AI. So like there's the tools are out there to do this, fairly easily. And bare minimum, I mean, you can have your logo on some things, but having some destination focused t-shirts and other things like that. They even have puzzles and Christmas ornaments and all kinds of stuff like that. So really, really easy thing to implement. The ResMark web team can talk to you more about that and how to get it into your site if that's something you decide to do, but I'd strongly encourage you to do it. Okay, with that, you guys, we're ready to look at our results from what everybody put in at the very start, and we'll kind of see where everybody ranked. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. Awesome. Okay. So overall, you can look back at your scores and see where you ranked according to everyone else. Looks like the health score average was about 47%. So you can see, am I above that or below that? Dreaming was around 38%. Interesting. Planning 40, booking 50, experiencing 6 to 6. So we're a little stronger as a group on the experience side of things, and sharing 42. So looks like there are a handful of things that are happening well, but there's probably a lot of room for growth. Honestly, this is what I found when I went through it for my own business. I found that there were areas within each of these, even after this many years and the success that we've had, that we needed to dial in. And this is where combining all of these platforms we've been looking at today, from the ResMark website platform to the booking platform, the online checkout experience, to all of the principles and concepts that are built into this, together with the strategic coaching, has brought so many things together in a way that is going to help us be even more successful. So if that is something that you feel like you want to dig into a little bit more or discuss, we walk through these 25 different areas with you, kind of pinpoint some that we want to focus on, put together a 90-day implementation of meeting every single week to put all the tools and processes in place, and then continue to meet each month to refine that. And if that's something that sounds interesting to just dig into a little bit more, learn a little bit more about, you can scan this, fill out the code, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. I think it's something that every business should really look at, and I think you can get a lot out of it. But I'm also hoping that even just some of the things we talked about today, you can find useful to go back to your business and apply. So with that, Nikki, I know we went over just a little bit. There was a ton of stuff to walk through here today, but hopefully everybody found that valuable. Just want to answer any questions that we might have here at the end.
Yeah, feel free to drop your chats, guys. I just want to thank you all for joining us. This is a really fun topic, and I think it's a needed topic as we go into 2026 with all of these changes. So stay tuned for our next webinar. It's not on the calendar just yet, but we're going to have a whole amazing lineup for 2026 full of value-packed webinars. And hey, if you're going to the America Outdoors Conference in mid-December, we'll be there. A lot of the people on the team will be there. We'd love to say hi in Salt Lake City. Not sure if you're going, but if you are, come say hi. And just a quick reminder that the replay will be up by tomorrow on our website. But if you can't find it, just shoot me an email. I'm sure you guys all have my email because you are getting my invites and confirmation messages. If you have feedback, feel free to let me know that as well. That's how we all learn and grow. So I appreciate it. I appreciate
Nikki?
You all for joining. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nikki, I do see just a couple of questions here for those that want to stick around. I don't know if everybody's reading the chat, but there was a good question here about do people need to utilize all of the systems that we've been talking about to take advantage of this? And I'll just point out that no, we actually work with some clients that use a different booking platform. We can still implement a lot of what we've talked about on the website. However, that online checkout experience, that's obviously unique to ResMark. So that one you'd have to be using both platforms. Obviously, the whole ecosystem of all ResMark tools and coaching and everything fits together. It's built to fit together well. But we do work with people if you're like, I just want to get started on my website. I'm not totally sure about the booking platform or technology side of things yet. Get started with your website. We can help with a ton of stuff there. If you are you love your website but you're thinking, I want to think about my booking platform a little bit and kind of explore what you guys have there, we can talk about that. And we can weave elements of some of the coaching stuff that we talked about with all of those 25 different pieces that you took in your survey. You'll find some of those no matter what solution you're using with us. The full-blown implementation is for those that are using all of our systems and processes. So they're using the website, they're using the booking platform, and then we can really dive into the coaching and have it make the biggest impact. Another question that has come up is about cost. So we've tried to keep this really straightforward. Really, we build out, when you subscribe to our SEO and AI search, conversion optimization services, we're going to be working on your website regularly with all of that, and we will actually build out the website at no cost. What that ends up being is just a monthly, starts out at $1,350 per month, $1,350 per month, and and you can have access to all of that. The booking platform works off of a percentage-based fee. You can find the pricing online, but it's 2 to 3.5%, depending on which bucket you choose. And it's a really easy way. Most people just pass that along to the customer as a transaction fee, a service fee that shows up. So there's really no additional cost to that. So honestly, if you're signing up for both of those and you're getting the coaching alongside all of that, like the VAT, which we're offering it included right now, like this huge value. I don't know that it'll always stay that way, but for those that are signing up right now to go through this, they can take advantage of that with just the things I mentioned, the transaction fee that you pass on, and just the monthly subscription, and everything that you saw here today gets included in that. If you've got a massive website, hundreds and hundreds of pages, there may be some additional cost to that build out, but the average website falls into that pricing that I just mentioned. So hopefully that's helpful to everybody. If there's any other questions, certainly you can shoot them out afterwards. Nikki's going to send out an email and is happy to always respond to anything like that. But thanks again for joining us today, everybody.